Hello, 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 everybody. We are live. I got caught out here acting like I didn't know I was live or not. This is Jasmine Flowers with I Hear That Girl, and Isis is actually here. What's going on, beautiful lady 35? How's it going? Listen, we're about to get into this conversation in just a minute. What's going on, Miss Easterling? How you doing? We're getting into this good conversation. I hope you can chime in about it too. So listen, while Isis is about to get ready to join us tonight, we are having a discussion about dating. And I wrote an article on the blog that I write for, that you guys are actually on the page right now. I Hear That Girl. And the blog was about, it was called Balancing Beauty, Negotiations of Dating. So we're going to have a really, really good conversation about that in just a minute, as soon as Isis comes in just a second, so we can have this conversation. If you guys haven't already, please tell your friends to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend all about I Hear That Girl and these awesome conversations that we are having about our articles, which I think is a very, very good idea. So Isis, if you want to go ahead and join, right now we can. So I want y'all to make sure you keep up with this conversation. I want you guys to ask questions. If you have it, I want you guys to give tips. If you are single and trying to figure out how to navigate this space, or if you're single and figured it out, if you're married and, obviously you got to that place and you have a successful marriage, please chime in and let us know about dating. It's a struggle out here. Okay, so once again, the article is called Balancing Beauty, Negotiations of Dating. And Isis Thomas, who is the originator, the fearless leader of I Hear That Girl, is actually going to chime in with me tonight. So Isis, I'm just waiting on you to get in here. Oh, here she is right now. Okay, I see your request. I sent it. There you are. Hello there.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Nothing. I'm so excited about this conversation because, when I read the article, I was like, oh, this is so good.
I will say, I want you guys, everybody that's on there, thank you so much for listening and coming in. I want you guys to go on when you can. Go on to I Hear That Girl and read the article. It just came out, I think, on Tuesday, on yesterday, the article that I wrote. And it's a little bit transparent. With my media personality work, I don't really do too much of things that are personal because, I try to be like Beyonce.
The personal is where the good stuff is.
Exactly. So I was
like, hold on, wait. I want to put a filter on.
Okay. You want to put So listen, while Isis is putting a filter
that
on,
don't even make no sense. Like we can't even live life now without putting a damn filter on. Like, yeah, I like that one. That's cute.
Okay, that's a cute one. I like that filter.
That's a damn shame. Like people. Anyway, that's a whole nother article about beauty. Like we can't even live like, because I was fine as hell before. Like, let me show y'all, just so y'all can be sure. Like, this is me before, perfectly fine. But I was like, no, I want this.
Life, beauty, and a filter.
Can't even go through life with with your natural beauty. But before you get into it, Jazz, I want everybody, man, invite your girlfriends to this live. Like, they need to hear this conversation. So
absolutely,
invite people, invite. Hey everybody, hey Erica. Okay, go ahead. I ain't gonna, you do you. I'm a guest today.
What's going on, everybody who has joined? Like Isis just said, please make sure y'all, all you got to do is that little arrow button. Just press that arrow and send it to everybody in your inbox. All your friends that you know, send this live to them. That is a great way for people to see the content that we're putting up, and so we can go ahead and make sure that this good work is acknowledged. So let's get right into it, because I want to go in and talk about the article that I've written. It's called Balancing Beauty, but it's really talking about the negotiations of dating. I want to read y'all a little bit about it because it was I was being very transparent. But I just want to talk about like a little bit of my experience. So this is what I wrote. In the moment of in this moment of solidarity and transparency, no matter how mentally strong you are, do you ever feel like you're balancing beauty in the negotiations of dating? After 2 brutal years of dating with intention, I told myself, Jazz, if this one is just like the other ones, then maybe you should just give up this dating thing. Here I am, after that declaration was realized, feeling completely defeated by somebody's son who, like so many others, viewed me as an accessory in his quest of collecting objects. Now, here's the part where I was like, I want to warn y'all because I know how this next part will sound. I said the next part seems pick me ish, but whatever. A thug tier 2 escaped from my ebony eyes while fixating on this. Am I not pretty enough? Is it my way? Am I too independent? What about this submission thing that these folks are constantly trying to brainwash me into? I find it hard to fathom that these things could disqualify me from the worthiness of being loved by another. What is the reason that I have not been able to disrupt this dating algorithm that has me looped into meeting people who are only meant to harm me? In the words of Lauryn Hill, tell me, who do I have to be to get some reciprocity? So that's a little excerpt of what I wrote from the article. Y'all should go on there and read it because it's kind of dope. And
it was so good.
Thank you. I just wanted to put a little bit out, but not like going too much into it because I feel like all of our dating experiences are like it's so many layers into it. So I just wanted to kind of give like one of them. So I appreciate you for coming on here because you liked the article and really wanted us to have a conversation about it.
I did, because as soon as I was reading it, like I felt like pieces of myself were in there, and I've been on a journey with dating, and so it's like I could see pieces here, pieces there, and then I was like, oh, but I gotta answer, and I so wanted to speak immediatto at the end of the article as I'm reading it. I was like, but, yeah. And that's when I text you and I was like, girl, I gotta talk about this, because there was so many things in it that you said that I kind of want to hit on. I don't know, you want to go line by line or how you would, it was some things that you hit on that I really, want to break down, because especially when you were like, what was the part about worthiness? Can you repeat that sentence?
Yeah, I think what I said I said I find it hard to fathom that these things could disqualify me from the worthiness of being loved by another.
Yes, so that statement there, I was just like, who been there, felt that. Okay, been there, felt that. However, I have learned something about that feeling.
Okay.
And that feeling is, the problem is that we are seeking love outside of ourselves.
Yes.
And it wasn't until I fully understood a love for Kimberly that I was able to understand what she requires.
Yeah.
Right. And then once I recognized what she required, and loved myself enough to stand up for what she requires, because we hear all the time these standards. Bitch, have your standards, okay? Because they are necessary. Only you know what is best for you, so you need to have your standards, and your standards are not going to be like everybody else's. Right. Your standards are your standards, and you need to have them, and you need to stand by them, and you should not have to excuse them or explain them away. They are yours, and that's what you want, right? And so once I got to that point where I was able to really stand by what it was I knew Kimberly needed, desired, wanted, girl, the caliber of men changed totally. And like, I think another part of it, when you said being disappointed by another woman's son or something, right? I no longer saw it as disappointment. Okay. Because what I was recognizing is that I'm learning more and more what Kimberly will not tolerate. I'm learning more and more what she wants. So each dismissed relationship or meeting was like closer to my king. I was like, I'm getting close, honey. I know I'm close, because they're getting better. They're getting better. Every step they're getting better, because there's less and less that I'm tolerating. There's more and more that I know that I'm adding to my list of standards, right? And all the while, again, loving and loving and loving on yourself so much to the point where external love is not necessary.
Yeah.
But you then get to the place of external love is allowed. Right. And so I was allowing someone to love me, and and walked this amazing person, you know, that was everything on my standards list, you know, and I was just like, yeah, this is all of them busters was worth it, because you know, they were just stepping stones to this person, because this person is everything that I needed, everything that I wanted. This person is, you know, still teaching me how to accept love. This person is, I mean, it's just all those intricate things that I had no idea about. I was learning through those other situations and building up a quote unquote repertoire for Kimberly. She needs to know what it is that she requires. She needs to know what it is that she needs, and so that you can recognize it when it shows up. You know? So right now you can recognize busters.
Right. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why I move so fast from people, is because I am good at recognizing, like, this ain't gonna work. Like, this is some trash. I'm not dealing with it. And so I do move on fairly quickly from people, because I love myself. I know what Jasmine needs. But I guess my thing is, I'm at the point now where I'm just tired of meeting people. I don't know if it's like my friend and I always call it the representative that this person puts on in the beginning. And then we're like, okay, cool. And then down the line, it's who they really are comes out. And I'm like, what can I do to attract someone who is not going to be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde? It will just be the same person. Period.
Well, guess what, Jazz? They're always the same. They're always the same. Nobody ever fronts. You know, we hear that about the representative, but nobody ever fronts. It's just what we fail to see.
Yeah.
Okay? What we do is we already have in our mind what we want. And then sometimes, especially for Black women, we make allowances for some of the things that their shortcomings. We'll make allowances for it and make up for it. But like, well, it wasn't that bad. It's just, and that's a sign. Girl, if he didn't meet that, he didn't meet it. Let it go.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But we will make allowances for it because we feel like, well, he got 8 of the things. So this right here, I can balance it out. You know, maybe that'll change. No, if it's not hitting your list,
yeah,
if it's not hitting those standards, let it go. It's not for you. And so when I say there's no such thing as a Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, there isn't. People are who they are, and then the number one thing I've learned is, like, let people be who they are. That's what the dating thing is about. Let them be who they are. You can learn so much if you just sit back and look at people and accept them for who they are. Don't think about, I want this to be a relationship, especially like when you're first meeting somebody. Don't worry about, yeah, I do want this to be a relationship. Just pay attention. But they are telling you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Everything
you need to know. Yes, they might be sweet to you and saying all kinds of sweet stuff, but listen to how they talk about their friends. Listen to how if they talking to you, just met you, right? Been going out on a date for, you know, y'all been dating maybe 2-3 weeks, right? But every time y'all sit down and have a conversation over dinner, you know, so my friend, they so stupid. They did this, and that. Girl.
Key number 1. Yeah.
You judgmental of your friends? How judgmental can you be of me? Like, come on. Like, people are showing you who they are. We just have to pay attention and accept them for who they are. Like, really accept them for who they are, and then make the decision on that, not making the decision on what you want it to be or what you would hope for it to be.
Yeah, and that's why I think I move on so fast. Like, when I say I move on fairly quickly, it's like literally within weeks. I haven't had a relationship in 5 years because I just don't believe in just jumping into anything with anybody. I believe in, like, you have to take your time, because we can talk about how I messed up in my first relationship years ago, how I jumped into that.
Yes, let me tell you, I told my significant other that when I read your article, I saw me. Girl, you are a mirror freaking image, okay, of me. I was that person. Girl, I was cutting them off left and right. It was like, yeah, hey. I ain't taking it. Even my homeboy, was like, he said, you know, you really no nonsense, Isis. You real no nonsense. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, you cut them off. You don't even play the game. You cut them off. And I was like, is that a bad thing? He's like, no, it's a good thing. It's just that dudes usually do that. And you are female and you just do it. And I was like, well, you know, but then I learned, like, sometimes I was in a place where I hadn't healed from my past hurt. I hadn't healed from that past relationship. And so it wasn't even that I just wasn't taking it. Sometimes I wasn't even allowing people to love me. So the situation was me feeling like, oh, you don't love me. It wasn't that. I wasn't even giving them the space to do so. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even allowing, like, if a guy was like, I want to spend time with you, I was like, oh, thirsty? Get up off me. Like, I don't do all that. You know, but dude is trying to spend time with you. There's this one dude I was dating, and I will never forget this, and I feel so bad about it to this day. But it was this guy I was dating, and there was a situation where my the power had went out at my house, and I had just picked up groceries, and so I had to store these groceries, right? So my girlfriend Kenya lives not too far from me. I was like, I'm gonna go to her house, put my stuff in her. She's like, we got another fridge in the garage, you straight. So I go over there, and I'm talking to the guy, right, telling him the situation. He says, why you didn't call me? Why, you know, you can come over, you could have brought your stuff over to my house. Girl, I was like, who you think you is? You ain't my man, sir. What is this? Like, I'm going off. He was like, what? I'm just trying to help you. I was like, sir, you're not my man. Like, what are you doing? Now, in retrospect, he wanted to be my man. He was trying to do what he thought should be done. But at that time, I was so hurt and had such a big fear of disappointment that I didn't even want to give him the option to step up. You know what I'm saying? Because if you didn't do it, I would be disappointed, and I don't feel like dealing with that. So I didn't even give him the room to be what I said I wanted.
Right.
I was intentionally dating at that time, and I wanted a relationship, but I wasn't giving him the room to give me what I wanted. So out of all the people that I dated during that period, he is the one that I really feel bad about, because it's like he was doing what, you know, he was trying, and I shut the door on him. I shut the door on it, would not allow it, and stopped talking to him. I never talked to him again after that day. Yeah, girl. Yeah, I never talked to him again. And then I'm just like, you know, this dating thing sucks. No, it doesn't suck. You just you're not allowing it, you know. So that's something else to think about. Like, especially when you've been hurt before, a lot of times we don't want to give people the room to disappoint us because it hurts too much. Right. And I don't want to be disappointed. So yeah, I will block you. I will, you know, keep you from loving me the way that you want to love, or the way that I even want you to. But I'm too afraid to let you do it and disappoint me, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes sense. I guess I'm just trying to figure out, like, how did you get over, like, not, I guess, thinking that somebody was going to disappoint you?
Is that Dash? Did Dash say, hey?
Him in the back. He is, because he hears a trash can rolling. Because somebody collect that trash can, and Dash got a problem. He is gonna bark about everything. I'm like, I tried to ignore. He hates any other outside noise. He can't stand it, so he might bark again.
Hey, Dash, I feel you. But yeah, so how did I get past that point? After that situation, I took myself off the streets. I got myself off the court because I was like, girl, you need to be benched because something's not right. You're not doing this right, you know? And I felt like you felt. That's why I said when I was reading that article, girl, I was like, that's me. Like, oh my God, that's so me. And I was tired. I was just like, I can't do this. Not knowing that the feeling of overwhelm that I was feeling, like you're feeling, It wasn't overwhelmed with the dating. It was the anxiety, the, all of that. It was the feelings that I wasn't even naming, the feelings that I wasn't even aware of that were making me feel like this too much, right? And so I took myself out the game and I benched myself. And I was like, we got to do our work. We got to find out why I keep, running into this, because I'm the common denominator. What is going on? And I really just took time to work on myself, dealt with, at first I thought it was all just related to, my divorce. So I immediately started working on that. I got a therapist. I started doing all this stuff. And then I started realizing it's deeper than the therapist. It's that young girl that I locked away. I locked her away, because she was disappointed and she was hurt. And so I locked her away thinking that this is how I protect her. And so Isis was born. Isis became the guard. Isis is literally the security guard. Like, she don't let no, she's dead. She barking as soon as anything shows up. You want to touch the trash can? Oh, hell no. Right. Like, she is just going off. And, I had to get Isis in check. Isis had to recognize that, you say you're protecting Kimberly, but really you have her in prison. She's in prison. And then once I realized, like, why is she in prison? She didn't do anything wrong. I started to let Kimberly out. And then it came the struggle of balancing, okay, where are we going to let Kimberly, step up, and where does Isis need to be? So now Isis has a back seat, She doesn't really show up until business time. But Kimberly was that free-loving, just love, exuding love and being open and accepting and all of this stuff. And I felt like Isis had to protect her from that, because people are dangerous and they hurt you, But, in this dating, that's what you need. You need that vulnerable side of yourself, because she knows exactly what she wants. That Jasmine knows everything that she wants, like, and she's going to follow the good feeling. And it's not just the lustful feeling. It's the good feeling. She's going to follow that. But if you're always trying to correct her, you won't even allow her down the path. You won't even let her go down there. So that's when I started recognizing, okay, let me let Kimberly out. Let me let her do this thing. Okay. And Kimberly has been doing a damn good job. She got a good man, she happy. She excited about life, like, yeah, it's just like Kimberly knows what she's doing, and I trust her more and more every day. At first I wasn't trusting her. I was like, we make bad decisions, I don't trust that. But then as I began to see, like, she is very capable out here in these streets, and she knows what she wants. And when she runs into a situation where she meets someone that does not meet her obligations, she has no problem saying, okay, well, that's not going to work, and moving on, and not feeling like, oh, I thought this was going to be. No, because she's not. Her thing is the true highest self is already knows what's out there for her, right? Yeah. So she's not disappointed along the way. She just recognizes, oh, you're not it yet. That's the difference. The highest self knows what's out there. Yeah. And it's not a question mark. But we question. We're like, well, I thought that was the one. Why isn't that the one? And so we're hurt by if they're not the one. But when you let your spiritual self, your highest self lead the way, they already know it's out there. And they're going to keep going regardless. And they don't feel any kind of, whims about any, broken relationships along the way. They're like, you're just not it, but it's still out there. Yeah. And I was so adamant that that person was out there. I was like, I know I'm getting very close.
Yeah. Very close. I think that's somewhat of how I feel, but I also feel like burnt out. Like, I feel like the fact that I'm able to move on and be like, I know this person, this is not going to work. Let me move on. But I'm in the middle of being like, okay, I'm going to move on from this person, but also I'm burnt out from all these persons, all these people that I keep meeting. And yes, I feel like the more that I'm like, okay, you can't deal with that. You can't deal with that. Get rid of him, get rid of this person, get rid of that person. The more I am moving closer, but sometimes I just feel like, how much more I got to do? Like, how much closer can the kid get? Like, do I
Right.
need this? Like, what do I got to do? Like, that's
Well,
feeling now, because what I will say this, after my last relationship, I've been single for 5 years. I took 3 years off. I didn't date anybody. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't do anything for 3 years because I knew I needed to heal. Because I knew like what I went through in that relationship was so traumatic. And I had to realize I didn't even know who I was coming out of that relationship. And I was like, who am I? Like, I don't even know why I could not answer that question. So I took 3 years off of dating. And then I came back into dating with like, okay, I got it. And then I was like, actually, I don't got it. Like, and I think I was thinking the time when I got into my relationship years ago, I was like, it was so easy. But I was like, but it was so easy because you were with the wrong person. Like,
and it was so easy because it didn't have a purpose. It didn't have any. I was just doing it. I was just there, you know, in a relationship because I might as well be, you know.
And I was like, I can't think about how easy it was that time because it didn't work out that time. I have to be thinking like anything that's worth having is probably going to be a challenge, or it's going to challenge me to be like my higher self and think about
it. That's the answer. It's going to challenge you to become your highest self, because you got to think about it. You don't want to meet that dream person when you're not ready. Because what if they're like, well, dang, I thought she almost there, but she ain't all the way there. Right? So you want to meet that person when you are 100% ready. Like I'm thankful now for what I went through, because I'm like, I wouldn't have been able to receive what I got.
Absolutely.
You know, I would have turned that down. I would have been like, you ain't my man, get up off me. You know. So, I don't know why I was so cold. Like, I used to just be like, don't do that. It was just the fear. It was the fear that if you say you're going to love me this way, I need you to keep that level, and you may disappoint me. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to disappoint me. And I just felt like you're going to disappoint me, and I'm going to be mad about it. And I'm going to have to fight you. And I don't want to fight nobody. So, you know, to avoid that, how about I just not even allow you to love me? I just don't even give you that chance or space to disappoint me. So, yeah, I had to do the work to get to the point where it's like, it's going to be worth it even if they do disappoint you. Yeah. It's still going to be worth it. The end result is going to be worth it. And once I got to that place of it's worth it, it's worth it. The relationships, I mean, I met a lot of cool people. But when they didn't work out, they just didn't work out. I was like, on to the next. On to the next.
And I think that's where I'm trying to get to the point of being okay when something doesn't work out. But also, like, I have this thing where I always tell people, I don't necessarily, like, forgiveness ain't really my thing, but I'm also trying to be in the middle of forgiveness and giving people grace. But I'm also extremely flighty, or I've adopted that personality, and my friends are like, dang, you don't hang around for nothing. And I'm like, I would hang around for the right thing, but I think right now I'm in the middle of working things. And that's why I think this article, I needed to write about it, because, and it was so much more that I needed to say, but I was like, I don't want it to go on forever. But I was like, I am in the middle of, like, I feel like how I felt when I first got out of my relationship, and I needed to sit my ass down somewhere and like rework these things in my mind so that I can be better. I was like, I feel myself getting towards the person that I deserve, but yeah. I'm kind of burnt out on all that. Let me read this one thing real quick that's been cracking me up. Somebody,
okay, because they got some comments popping up in here, and I'm like trying to read them, but I can't really see them.
Right. I wanted to cut myself off and read this person because I was over there cracking up a little bit. This person, I got blocked by somebody I like. I called from a different number. Like, that just happened, and that was from, what's that? Delicious LYFIT.
Deliciously Fit.
Oh, Deliciously Fit.
So she blocked someone, or she got blocked?
She got blocked by somebody and called from a different number.
Now, see, I be blocking people. I will block you, because I will block people that, you know, the relationship don't work out. I block them because once, if it doesn't work, you don't have access to my time. I feel like being with me is a benefit. So if you lose that access, you don't get to get in on the ride. You don't get to see what's going on. Like, so, you know, because you get some dudes, they'll be with you and then y'all break up and then they want to text you and be like, miss you, baby.
Right.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't need you to miss me because that's over. That access is gone. You don't have access to me anymore, sir. Please stop texting my phone. So I will block people very quickly in that situation. Now, if she turned around and called a baby, the block was a sign. So listen, if they block you, please don't call them back.
He continued because somebody, Kay, the gym said,
oh, that's dead. Kenya. What'd she say?
Kay, the gym said, I'm dead. LOL at Deliciously Fit. And then Deliciously Fit replied to that and said, he did it to piss me off. But I was letting him know, you can't just get rid of me like that.
You can't block me. She's serious. Like, you can't block me. You can't get rid of me. That a skit that Dave Chappelle did. You can't get rid of me.
I'm like, Deliciously Fit. You might need to let that go. I don't know. I don't want to tell you what to do. But
that's low-key stalker behavior, Deliciously Fit. Like, we need you to just let it go, sis. Like, no, seriously, you should want someone that wants you. Like, want someone that just is like head over heels running towards you.
That's what
you know?
That's what I'm looking. I think that's what I'm looking for right now. Is I want someone who, like, they're gonna do everything to make sure that they can be with me. That's what I want, and I think that's why I've been running from one person to the next, because I don't feel like somebody has ever really just been like, you, Jasmine, I want you, and I'm gonna do what it takes. Meaning, I got myself together. I'm gonna do what it takes for you to see that I want you. And that's why I was like, I don't want to negotiate what I feel like I deserve or my worth for somebody who ain't running after me. So
then don't.
Yeah.
Then don't.
Like,
when I say, and that's why I'm on one side, I totally agree with you quickly getting out of something. If it doesn't meet that criteria, if that person doesn't give you the feeling like, I really want to be with Jasmine, end it.
Yeah.
End it, you know, because it should be what you want. You want someone to really want you. Absolutely. If they're not quickly trying to see you, like there was this one dude I was dating, and this dude always was like, well, when we gonna get together? And I'm like, you tell me, you know? And it was just that same sentence every damn week. If you want to see me, sir, make some plans.
It's like
tell me where we need to be. You know, show some initiative that says you want to be with me. You know what I'm saying? I keep getting a phone call. I should have put on do not disturb. But yeah, so it's like, show me that you are really, really serious about being with me. You know, show me that initiative. And if you don't show that, why am I wasting my time with you? Matter of fact, if you meet them online and within the first, let's say, I don't know how long y'all usually chat, but if you meet them online and they're not quickly trying to get more of your time to talk and discuss,
yeah,
girl, leave it alone.
Don't need pen pals. No, we're not gonna be on here. You're not gonna what you doing me to death. Yeah, and that's how I feel too. So that's another one. I'm like, no, I don't want a pen pal. I don't even write to people in prison, my cousins. I don't write to them. So why would I write to you and you stay right down the street? I'm good on that. So yeah, that's another reason why. On the article, I also posted this clip from the Roommates podcast, and I've seen some of their other stuff. I don't agree with everything they say, but they had she goes by Shan Booty, but her name is Shannon Boodram, and she's a sexologist. She's an intimacy expert, and she was talking about why beautiful women struggle in the dating space. And I wanted to put that up there too, because she talked about, you know, how a lot of people, and I put in the article, you know, am I not pretty enough? A lot of people think that it has something to do with their looks. You know, some people think it has to do with their, like I just said, how you look. You're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too dark, too short, too light, too whatever. Like, I'm pretty, I'm not pretty. People think it's that. And what Shan was trying to convey was that like looks is very low on the list. What is, and I wanted to get your perspective on this, but she said what is high on the list for successful relationships is agreeability. Someone's ability to compromise and agree, not get along to get along, but to be in a, I guess, a conscious relationship where you all are trying to really mingle your lives together. What do you think about like agreeability being a number one thing that makes a relationship successful?
I don't like the word agreeability, but
yeah, issue with that too.
Yeah, I'm not just gonna agree, but I understand compromise,
Right.
and having a person who is wise enough, confident enough, and accepting enough to understand that we all have different perspectives. Yes, that is extremely important in a relationship because
Right.
you're two different people. You're gonna have two different perspectives. So we should be able to recognize, okay, that's my viewpoint, but just because that's my viewpoint doesn't mean that I hate yours, you know, or doesn't mean that we totally cannot do whatever it is that you're saying you want to do. But you do need to, just the same way we go through the whole, you know, we love when we dating people to ask them their love languages. Why are you asking them their love language? Ask them their love language. Are you asking, the question is, are you asking the love language because you want to know how to love them? Or are you asking the love language so that they know how to love you? So it's like, you need to be clear. Acceptance is when I hear somebody tell me their love language, I need to know how they're going to be able to receive love. Because
Right.
if I do it just the way that I'm used to, that's me being selfish and saying that my way is the only way. And then when they're not receiving it, I'm going to be what? Disappointed. Because I'm going to be like, I did all this for you and this, and that, and you didn't even feel it. Sis, acts of service may not be his love language.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? What if his love language is physical touch and you've been doing all kinds of things for him, but you haven't touched the man,
Right.
you know, or hugs him, you know, things like that. What if that's the issue? You have to be flexible enough and opinionated enough, and also confident enough in your own personal beliefs and that of someone else to understand it has nothing to do with me. It's about them.
Yeah. It's about,
you know?
yeah. And I think we do internalize other people in this dating space and you kind of make it your issue. And I've been guilty of that too. It's part of the reason why I was feeling the way I did when I wrote that. I was just like, what's going on? Like, why don't you, I'm dope. Duh. Like, why you can't see how dope I am? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, and then it started like, damn, well, maybe I'm not. Yeah, but then I was like, no, Jasmine, what are you doing?
You know.
Are like, and I'm like, if you get to the point where you questioning, somebody got you questioning who you are, girl, well, maybe you haven't done the work.
That's another sign, baby. If you questioning yourself, that's not the one, because the one is gonna make you feel like you the best thing since sliced bread. They're gonna be like, girl, you are all that, you the dopest chick I ever seen, you this, that. Like, they gonna be in love with who you are, and that's gonna let you know, like, that's my person, because they get me. They get me.
They ride for me. They crazy. Like, so a couple more comments. Natia said, I met a guy online and we went on a date and he wanted to come sleep on my couch.
Oh, hell no.
Right.
But they out there though. Listen, I dated a dude, he asked me for $2,000 in like a couple days. I was like, sir, where does this come from? Like, what?
Yeah.
I laughed for a good full solid 5 minutes. I did. I just laughed and laughed and laughed. And he was just like, at the end of my 5-minute laugh, he said, so what's up? You got it? I was like, I know you lying.
Yeah, he was not at all. Like, one of the guys that I was talking about in this article was a guy who we started talking. He expressed that he was this kind of a guy. And around him, he was what he said he was. Or that's what I saw. But then, and we followed each other on social media at his request. Because I like to tell people on social media, like, you know my social media presence. I get down. I mean, I'm like, I get down with some crazy stuff. So sometimes I tell people, if you go to my social media page, you're going to see some crazy stuff. But like, that's just that's a part of who I am too. But like, this is who I am. You'll get to know me, all this stuff. He was like, okay, cool, whatever. I'm crazy too online. I was like, okay, cool. I looked at his social media. He was like, yeah, I've been stalking you. I've been looking at all the stuff you're doing, yada, yada, yada. He didn't have a lot on his Instagram page, but something told me to go to Twitter. And I went to Twitter, and he's extremely active on Twitter. And I realized on Twitter that he put some of our conversations on Twitter.
Sis, when he said I've been stalking your page, that was the sign right there. Like,
Right.
I've been stalking your page.
And I was like, what kind of grown-ass man puts conversations that we're texting each other on social media? And I called him, I texted him, and I really should have called. I don't even know why I texted, but I texted him. And I was like, so you a social media troll now? Like, what is this? And he was like, what? I said, your bustling career as a comedian on Twitter. And I was like, who does that? And I said, I would never put private messages online between me and someone else. Do you know he stopped talking to me?
He should have. Girl, baby.
Because I called him out. He later apologized for it and said that he was sorry for putting it online. He thought it was a joke at the time. And he thought
what was the joke?
Right. That's what I said. I was like, I didn't
What's the joke?
Yeah, I was like, I don't think that that's a joke at all. And he was like, I apologize. I'm really sorry for the way I acted. And I'm sorry for the fact that I dismissed you when you came to me about how you felt. I was like, okay, I felt like, yeah, but at this moment, I still don't trust you because that's some real, I feel like at your age, you should know better. So whatever. But I'm just like,
I'm trying to get it to make some sense. I want to know why. You know what? I don't even have the energy. So, blah.
It's a part of me that really wanted to understand why he's like 30, he's at early 30s. That's enough time. Why a grown man would do something like that and think that it's funny, and particularly to somebody that you're talking to. Why would you do that? And then, like, you can't even be enough for what you've done to actually be like, okay, I see that offended you. Let's talk through it. So I was just like, so these are the type of situations that I'm talking about that I run into. So it's always, to me, I'm always a little like, that man was not who you said that you were, and when we were together.
Well, he told you he was stalking your page, so he did tell you that.
I didn't think I thought at the time I interpreted stalking as I've been looking to see what you do. And he was like, I was stalking your page to see, if you were crazy or not. But I should have been like, yeah.
Look, I know you're younger than me, Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Stalk means stalk. Like, people who don't stalk don't use the term. I'm being real. Like, you ain't gonna catch me saying stalking.
Yeah.
Because I know what stalk means. So I'm not gonna use that term. If I want to say I did some research on you, I did research on you. But I'm not gonna use the term stalking you. I'm not gonna stalk you, baby. So yes, when people are using these terms, they are literally saying what they mean. Yeah, I stalked you, and that's the kind of behavior he exemplified.
Exactly. And I was just like, I think that's so childish. It's so ridiculous. Shout out to everybody who came online.
Yes.
Somebody said I would. Okay, I'm trying to go back up to.
I know. What it was. Culture and Conversation said something about he do the stalk or something. What he said?
Yeah.
I can't see all of these things. It's a lot, but like you see Kenya saying hashtag stalk means stalk because it does. Like it literally does. Like, oh, he just
Culture also said I got asked to help a woman pay her bills while she built her townhouse.
Listen! Look, now wait. Now y'all know I'm all about women's empowerment. So I ain't mad because men been out here doing that to us for a minute. So she at least had to try. I ain't mad at sis for trying. She's like, hey, I'm building my townhouse. You want to lay some coins and pay these bills? In the meantime, just to see if it worked. Dude's been doing it, so why not should she try? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm still learning and trying to like figure some things out. But I want to have a question, I have a question about people dating. What do you think about the followers of Kevin Samuels and like his messaging and the people who and how people interpret it?
Honestly, I don't know who he is.
Okay.
I've seen, you know, like people having the conversation about him, but personally, I've never listened to him before. And then the comment, the quotes that I have seen, I just be like, who listens to this? Like, you know, and I feel like we hype people up, right?
Yeah.
Even if you disagree with somebody, if you keep telling other people you disagree with that person, you just hype them up. So if he is hashtag trash, as Kenya says, then, you know, people should stop feeding it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a virus. You feeding it. And from what I can gauge from it is that he has strong opinions about accountability for men or women. I'm not 100% sure. Which one is it? He had a high accountability for women. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I believe in accountability. When I coach women, which I ain't gonna say I only coach women, but when I coach women, which is the majority, I hear them out, I hear their conversation, and then I bring it back to you because ultimately you have the power. Anytime we do this, you are giving power away. So I want a woman to feel empowered by saying, okay, what can I do to change this situation? Because I can wallow all day in what other people have done to me or what I have allowed to be done to me, or I can reclaim my power and change this. Exactly. So I get that. Now, sometimes when it's a man telling a woman what she or she should or should not do, but not also acknowledging the other half of that situation, it can be a bit frustrating to hear. So because I haven't really listened to this person, I can't really say how I feel about him. But I would just say to any woman that is feeding into that, stop. If you don't agree with it, stop. Just stop watching it. Why would you listen to this person tell you that you ain't nothing? Like, stop listening to it, and then, but still be accountable for your actions. Now, if a hit dog will holler, so if he says something and you all of a sudden get into an uproar, probably because you got that man on your couch. Just saying.
True.
Did he lie? Where's the lie? That's all I'm saying.
You let this man come live with you, and you knew better than that. Like,
and he just called you out. So if that's the issue you got with him, don't be mad with the lie. Come out of the land of lies and walk into the land of truth. You know, like, seriously, it's just, he just exposed you, baby. That's all. That's all.
Culture and Conversations gave the eyes, and Kay the Gym also said he's mean and unnecessary. I do believe a lot of his point of view is extremely mean, rooted in misogyny, and it's very nasty especially towards women. And I also think it's damaging towards men too, because I think it gives men the wrong idea of what it means to be a good man, I think, and a good man to a woman. And it's really about viewing a woman as an accessory and not a necessity to his life. It's really like, girl, like I just said, I'm collecting a bunch of these things, including you. So, and then I hear like, I met this dude. We did not date. Let me just say that, because I knew from the beginning it was a no. I met this dude who, like, we were cool online, but when I tell you, the minute that we sat down, he was just like telling me all this, like, rooted in misogyny. I was like taken aback. I was like, I really wish I hadn't even come to this restaurant with you. But he had ended up telling me that he was divorced and had a 6-year-old daughter. And he was dogging his wife out. From the start, every woman was a bitch. And I was like, my God, you are really bitter. And then he went on to tell me that Black women have the highest number of divorces. And he was like, because Black women can't keep a man. And then he later told me that he's been married twice. And so I said, so you put 2 Black women in that statistic. And he got mad at me because I was like, if you've been divorced twice, then that just means that you made two black women divorcee, right? Like, am I just tripping or whatever? But he was upset about that. But then he went further and continued to talk about how much he just hated women. And then he said he was trying to get himself together. And he sent me a video of what he called trying to be a better man. And it was a video of a man saying, all these bitches want is for you to have money. And I asked him, I said, this is really what you're using to be a better person. And I was like, I cannot believe that this man is who you're watching to be a better man. And I ended up learning more about him. He ended up telling me that his first wife used to beat his ass. And so he was young and he got a divorce from her. This next wife, she took care of him. I said, so you let a woman take care of you. And then when you start making more money than her, you just thought you was going to make the shift to you being the leader. And you were mad because she could not allow you to lead because she had to take care of you. I was like, you give no room for grace with women, but you want women to look at you as being an alpha, and you right here calling women bitches. So like he's a fan of Kevin Samuels too. And I think those are the type of men that he's getting to. And in these relationships between black men and black women, for those people who are in heterosexual relationships, are so messed up because of things that people like Kevin Samuels say, and men and women who follow that ideology.
Well, I must say, when I hear that story about that man, my heart goes out to him because he's hurt.
Yeah.
You know, I immediately recognize that that's pain. That's not just, I hate women. It's pain. It's pain, and it's deeply rooted pain. Probably a situation with his mother or some kind of female figure in his life is at the root of that. Then also he said to you verbally that he was trying to get himself together, which means he is at least somewhat aware that there's an issue, right? There's something that needs to be fixed. So he is trying to do that. Now, like you said, he sent you the video of Kevin Samuels. The problem with that is that he is still seeking help, right? But if Kevin Samuels is saying something that he relates to, he's automatically going to grasp onto it and think of it as the truth. Because now it's like, here's someone who feels the same way I do, so it has to be right, you know? And so it's not so much that this man is just totally a waste of time, right? It's not that. It's just that he really has, as many of us do, deep-seated issues that he really needs to go see a therapist. If he starts to see a therapist, and you know, we've gotten into this age where we get our therapist online. I mean, it's good, you can get some good notes, but you still need to sit down with a licensed therapist, okay? And so that, I think that's the situation with him. But I immediately was like, you know, because I have friends, I have family that have been hurt so much by women that sometimes I can hear them saying, well, y'all women, and I'll look and they're like, but not you though. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, you got to understand that this pain is seeping into your mindset about women. And unfortunately, the same way that pain from exes seep into our mindsets about men, it does the same thing for men to women. So, you know, we have to give some grace individually, right? When we meet people, we got to understand where they are. And like you said, it didn't go any further than that. And that's great. So you are at a place where you can see, okay, this person is just definitely not in the healed space that I need my partner to be in. I could accept that, you know, you tried to offer what you could offer at that time, which was maybe a different perspective or a new train of thought for him. And then you move on and it's deuces. Yeah. But yeah, you know, I think if we all were allowing people to just be free to be messed up for a second, that maybe we could heal people along the way. But it's like sometimes we always expect people to come to us fully healed and perfect. How that's gonna happen? It don't happen like that. You know, people gonna go through stuff and they're gonna be messed up. And we got to be okay with that and not take everything so personally and be like, what you trying to say about me? I'm comfortable and confident enough as a woman myself to know that when somebody says something like that, bruh, ain't talking about me.
Yeah. And
you're not talking about me.
His words didn't like penetrate me because I could see where he was coming from. Because I kind of felt like him when I first, like bitter, like him when I first got out of my last relationship. I remember being that bitter and hating everybody and also hating myself, to be honest, for even getting in that situation. But after a while, because that's one thing we haven't talked about. Because just real quick, we'll go there. I remember talking to my ex and screaming on the phone, and I dated a woman, I'm bi. I screaming at my ex and like to the top of my lungs. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't even mad at her. I was mad at myself. I was mad that I even allowed somebody to come into this life and completely
and do this to me. Yes.
I did not one time did I stand up for myself and say, no, you will not do this. Until the very end, where I finally stood up for myself and said, I don't have no more money to give you. And literally 2 weeks later, she was with somebody else. And I remember like after that, she called me like 6 months later. And I had thought, oh, I did all this work. I'm good. One phone call sent me screaming to the top of my lungs. And I was like, girl, like, why? Like, you are really damaged, girl. Like, you are screaming to this girl. She said, hey. Like, and
it's called grief. It's grief. You know, it's like when we're in relationships, especially real committed relationships, when you're in those relationships, your expectancy is that this may go on forever, right? So when it doesn't and you lose that, it's just like somebody dying. That relationship is dead. I must grieve it. That pain of, I can't believe I made such a huge mistake. You know, that pain, oh, honey, when I got my divorce, that was the number one thing that followed me for 12 years was constant. I beat myself up every day for 12 years because I was like, how dare you? You empowering everybody else to take control of their life, and you allowed this to happen. Wow. You said yes. You decided to be with this person even though you had every red flag. You decided to stay in it for 6 years. You did this. You set it up where y'all had a joint bank account. You allowed him to be able to steal from you. You did this. And I beat myself up for 12 years until one day my therapist said to me, you did nothing wrong. You made a choice to get married like any young woman would.
Right.
You was a good wife in your relationship and tried to stick it out like anybody in a marriage should. You had a joint bank account with your husband like most people would. So what did you do wrong? You know, and then I had to really just forgive myself.
Yeah.
Say, girl, it seemed like a good idea at the time. It just didn't work out.
Right. There it is.
You know, and I was able to let that go and then just really get myself out of beating myself up, beating up and not trusting other people, you know, and just really move back into the now. I realized, I'm like, girl, you stuck 12 years ago. You are literally stuck in that time. Do you want to move forward or do you want to stay in that time? And that's when I decided to let all that go.
Yeah. I think that, like, for me, that was the best thing to actually hold myself accountable for the things that I had allowed to happen. And then also get to the place of forgiving myself, but also making sure, and I think that's what I'm tapping into now, about recognizing things that I don't like in people and moving on a little bit faster. But then there's now where I think I'm giving people more than I should. And I'm like, I got a prison situation that I'm about to get ready to cut off. So that I'm like, I know what
hope they ain't watching.
Well, if they are, then this is
over.
Right. This is the end. I can't even do it anymore. I talked to a friend of mine earlier today about how disappointed I was in a decision that this person made. And I was just like, I said it with, if this doesn't happen, I know this has to be the end. So I know that this is the end. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to do. Culture and Conversations also said Kevin Samuel speaks for the hurt of men that has gone unacknowledged. The problem is his show is not solution oriented. Let's see. I want to get to other people's comments too.
The hurt of men that goes unacknowledged.
Yeah, unacknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand that.
I mean,
how can the hurt of men that goes unacknowledged? Because isn't the hurt of all people unacknowledged if they don't speak on it? So what separates the hurt of men from the hurt of women? And then this is usually when I ask that question, the comeback is, well, women always talk. You know, y'all talk.
Right.
So is that my fault that I know how to talk and you don't know how to communicate your feelings? That's not my fault. So,
literally.
Okay, I can understand if Kevin Samuels is communicating for them since they have no ability or way to communicate themselves, but maybe more of the subject matter should be in teaching those brothers how to communicate their hurt.
Right. Instead of like deflecting or like being dismissive of women and saying that women are the problem, maybe talk to men about, well, you know, what can we do to get you to the point of having a better relationship instead of what we need to do is have money to attract women, or women need to be skinny, or women need to be younger, or women don't need to have children to be worthy of love. What
these are things he's saying?
Yeah, that's what he says. Yeah. He said he's talking about a high value man, high value man who makes a bunch of money will only be attracted to a woman who will look a certain way, is youthful, and she can't be fat. She cannot have children. Like I don't know why women go on his show to put themselves through that food.
Yes, like why?
I see women every day with children being loved by men. I see overweight women being loved by men every day. Like and some men have money and some of them are blue collar or whatever else. They find the love of someone else. That's why I'm like, I don't even know why to this man, because what he's saying is not true. The only thing that he's doing is breaking down further the relationships between black men and black women. And y'all are letting him do it. You know, why are people, this man has over 1 million followers spewing out hatred towards women. And bitches suck. So yeah, it's
that's a lie. I've never, like, honest to God, I've never really, I heard about him only through everybody else posting, but I've never sat to listen to him. So I don't know the full dialogue of this person. Yeah, I just don't fuel it. That's how I feel about that. We got a lot of comments in here. What they talking about?
And I want to take this moment right now where we got all these comments. Thank y'all so much for coming in here and talking to us. Listen, if you haven't already, just share this video with people and tell everybody about I Hear That Girl. And y'all should go onto the blog as well and read the articles by the fantastic team of writers, including myself. And if y'all don't know, this is Isis, our fearless leader. She is the creator of I Hear That Girl. And we do so many wonderful things here, like pumping up Black people, all the efforts that Black people have. And it's really about empowering Black people. And we hold a sacred space for Black women to be themselves. So y'all come on over there and tell y'all friends about it. But before we end this, because I don't ever like just talking about problems and just talking about all the negative things that happen, I like solutions. And I like giving people advice about what to do. So I'm going to ask you, what do you think that women should stop doing right now to have a better experience with dating?
Stop requiring the happiness, the joy, or the achievement of a relationship to be based on an external source. It has to be from within. You got to know what you're doing this for. You got to know what your standards are, what you will tolerate and what you will not, and stand up for yourself at every moment of that dating process. Always remember the woman that you're doing this for. And if she's not pleased, walk away. Give yourself grace to walk away. Don't think that you're obligated to be with him because he said he's going to take you out. If you get there and you don't like something, leave. You can leave. Yeah. You can leave. If you sitting there eating and he say something that you can leave. You are not obligated to be there because, oh, he took his sweet time out to come and get me. I don't care. I don't care. Put yourself first. That's the number one thing to do.
I love that. Put yourself first. We have a comment here that says your mate. Who is this? Tisha. Yeah, I'm Sorry about the names, y'all. Your mate is an addition to you. The self-love and worth starts with you. It's a lot of broken children in adult bodies, okay? And then somebody came, amen, amen. Y'all are telling the truth on here. Listen, I'm going to give you the last word here. I want to, first of all, before we get into the last word, thank y'all so much for coming on here. Y'all showed out in the
Yes, they did.
okay. We appreciate y'all. Don't just show out on this. Show out on I Hear That Girl. Click that follow button and engage with I Hear That Girl. And what are your last thoughts on dating right now in this modern era and trying to find love? What are your thoughts?
My final word here is just, you gotta love yourself. I know y'all get tired of hearing that, but loving yourself is so much deeper than going to the spa or getting your nails done. It's like getting to the place where you are comfortable with the dark and scary parts of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you sit in silence and deal with everything you hear? A lot of people avoid silence because they want to be distracted from the truth that's going on inside. If you can silence yourself, I do with my Confidently Dope community, right? Which you can sign up for, y'all. Make sure y'all go to my page and you can click the link in my bio and go to Confidently Dope community. But anyway, in the community, we do a sit session. It's a SYT session. And this is a silencing your thoughts session. They have to sit in silence. We start out at 2 minutes. You sit there for 2 minutes, right? And just in silence. All the stuff that's running around, you just let them run, and then you visualize a door and you let them walk out the door, right? All those thoughts walk out the door. And then you can sit down with one thought. Whatever the question is, you sit down with that. And then you feel all of it. Whatever the answers are, whatever the questions are, whatever the feeling is, whatever the emotion is, you do that for 2 minutes. Now, people are like, 2 minutes? That is no time. Honey, in silence, 2 minutes is a long time. And if you do it regularly, then you take it up to 10 minutes. You'll be amazed at what you find out, because the truth is living in your head, but we turn on our phones, we turn on music, we got our computers, we have TVs, we have everything else drowning out that truth, because some of us are afraid to face it.
Yes.
So that's, something that we do in that group. Y'all make sure y'all join. But yeah, silence yourself, hear yourself. That's the love I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Once you get comfortable with the dark stuff and you start really peeling back all the mess and the good and the bad and the ugly of your life, and you're okay with that, then you'll be ready to love. But you want somebody to love. I want somebody to love me, flaws and all, but you don't even love your own flaws, sis.
How
Make it make sense?
Yeah.
So that's just what I'm saying. Like, we're requesting something that we're not even giving ourselves. Mm-hmm. So, if you have trouble speaking up for yourself, how can you expect a man to respect you if you don't even respect yourself?
Exactly. Y'all, we just got a beautiful word, and this is why Kimberly Isis is the fearless leader of I Hear Her. If you haven't already, like I said, y'all make sure you go onto the blog, make sure you follow the Instagram and all other social media right here, and follow Kimberly Isis Confidently Dope. You actually had somebody on here who asked how can they join. So
okay, just click the link in my bio, Isis_Thomas. And there is a link for you to sign up. It is a monthly membership, and we meet every Sunday. We do pep rallies, and then we do a monthly mastermind where we talk through all types of things. This month, our intention was facing our fears. And next month, we move on to something even stronger. So we're just really building ourselves up to live confidently dope lives.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And thank everybody for coming on here. Y'all have a great night.
Bye, guys.